The Art of Small Moments, Finding Meaning in Everyday Life. Introduction. The Overlooked Treasures. We spend our lives waiting for the big moments, the promotion, the wedding, the dream vacation, the milestone birthday. We mark time by these events and measure our happiness against them. But what if I told you that life doesn't actually happen in those big moments? What if the real richness of existence is hidden in the thousands of small moments we rush past every single day? Think about your typical day. You wake up. You go through your morning routine. You commute. You work. You eat meals. You interact with people. You return home. You wind down. You sleep. And then you do it all again. On the surface, this seems mundane, repetitive even. We often describe our daily lives as routine or ordinary. We say nothing much happened today, but that assessment misses something fundamental. Between waking and sleeping, you experienced hundreds of moments: the feeling of warm water in the shower, the taste of your breakfast, the smile from a stranger, the sunlight through a window, the satisfaction of completing a task, the comfort of sitting down after standing, the sound of rain, the smell of dinner cooking. Each of these moments contained a full experience, a sensation, an emotion, a small story. But most of them passed by completely unnoticed because you were thinking about something else, planning ahead, replaying the past, worrying, hoping. Anywhere but here. This audiobook is an invitation to come back, to slow down, to notice, to find extraordinary meaning in your ordinary life. I'm not suggesting you quit your job and move to a mountaintop to contemplate existence. I'm suggesting something far more radical. Stay exactly where you are. Keep living your regular life, but start paying attention to it. The art of small moments is about presence. It's about being fully alive to your actual experience instead of living primarily in your thoughts about experience. It's about recognizing that this moment right now is your life, not a dress rehearsal, not a waiting room, your actual, irreplaceable life. Over the following chapters, we will explore different aspects of daily existence: morning rituals, conversations, walking, eating, working, waiting, transitions, evening wind-downs. Each chapter will help you discover the hidden richness in activities you probably take for granted. You don't need to change your life to transform your experience of living. You just need to show up for it, fully, repeatedly, with curiosity and openness. The treasures you seek are already here. They've been here all along. You just need to learn to see them. Let's begin. For many of us, this is the first ritual of the day. We rely on it. We crave it. We arrange our mornings around it. But what is your actual experience of drinking it? If you're like most people, you drink it while doing several other things simultaneously. You scroll through your phone checking messages and news. You think about your schedule for the day. You mentally rehearse a difficult conversation. You worry about a deadline. The beverage itself is just fuel, a delivery mechanism for caffeine, a means to an end. What if you gave that coffee 3 minutes of complete attention? Start before you even take the first sip. Notice the cup in your hands. Feel its weight, its temperature, the texture of the ceramic or paper or metal. Wrap your hands around it and notice how the warmth feels against your palms. Look at the liquid. Really look at it. Notice its color, the way light plays across its surface. If there's cream or milk, watch how it swirls and blends. Watch the steam rising in delicate spirals that disappear into the air. Bring the cup close to your face and breathe in the aroma. Don't just sniff quickly. Take a slow, deliberate breath through your nose. Notice all the different scent notes. The richness, the earthiness, the slight bitterness or sweetness. Now, take a small sip. Don't gulp, sip. Let the liquid rest on your tongue for a moment. Notice the temperature, the taste, the bitterness or sweetness or combination of both. Notice the texture, how it feels in your mouth. Swallow and notice the warmth traveling down your throat. Feel it arrive in your stomach. Notice any sensations that follow. Take another sip. And another. Continue this way for 3 full minutes. Nothing else. No phone. No thoughts about your day. Just you and your coffee existing together in this moment. What you're doing is simple but profound. You're practicing presence. You're training your attention to rest on your actual immediate experience instead of spinning off into thoughts about the past or future. This isn't about coffee. Coffee is just the vehicle. This is about learning that you can be fully present for small, ordinary moments. And when you're fully present, something remarkable happens. The moment stops being ordinary. It becomes vivid, alive, rich with sensation and experience. You drink coffee every day. Probably for years, possibly for decades. But how many times have you actually tasted it, actually experienced it? Most of the time you're physically drinking coffee while mentally you're somewhere else entirely. This is true for most of your life. You're physically here, but mentally elsewhere. Your body goes through the motions while your mind churns through an endless stream of thoughts. You're living, but you're not actually here for most of it. The morning coffee meditation is a gateway. It's a simple, accessible way to practice being present. 3 minutes. That's all. You already have the coffee. You're already taking the time to drink it. The only difference is whether you show up for the experience or not. Try this tomorrow morning. Just 3 minutes. Notice what happens. Notice how different the experience feels when you're actually present for it. Notice how those 3 minutes become a small island of calm and awareness in your day. And here's the beautiful secret. Once you learn to be present with your coffee, you can be present with anything. The shower, the commute, a conversation, a walk, a meal. Any moment becomes an opportunity for full, vivid presence. Your life is made of moments. This moment, and this one, and this one. String together millions of them, and you have a life. The question is whether you'll be present for those moments, or whether you'll miss your life because you were too busy thinking about it to actually live it. Start with coffee. 3 minutes. See what you discover. Chapter 2. Conversations as Sacred Exchanges. When was the last time you had a conversation where you weren't planning your response while the other person was still talking? We've become efficient communicators, but poor listeners. We wait for our turn to speak rather than genuinely hearing what's being shared. We listen for the pause where we can jump in. We scan for keywords that relate to our own experiences so we can share our story. Meanwhile, the person in front of us is offering themselves, their thoughts, their feelings, their experience, and we're missing it because we're too busy preparing what we'll say next. Real listening is rare, and because it's rare, it's powerful. Think about the last time someone truly listened to you, not just heard your words, but really listened with their full attention. How did that feel? Probably remarkable. Probably memorable. Probably like a gift. You can give that gift in every conversation with anyone. Here's how. When someone speaks to you, make a deliberate choice. Choose to understand rather than to respond. Let go of planning what you'll say. Let go of judging whether you agree or disagree. Let go of comparing their experience to your own. Just listen. Watch their face. Notice their expressions, their gestures, the energy behind their words. Listen not just to what they're saying, but to what they mean, to what they're really trying to communicate beneath the words. When you listen this way, something interesting happens. You actually understand them. Not just their words, but them, their perspective, their feelings, their humanity. And they feel it. People can tell when you're truly listening versus waiting to talk. They can sense the quality of your attention. When you offer genuine attention, they relax. They open up. They share more deeply. The conversation becomes real. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means that when you do speak, you're responding to what was actually said rather than to what you were thinking about while they were talking. Try this experiment. In your next conversation, focus entirely on understanding the other person. Make that your only goal. Not to be interesting, not to share your wisdom, not to solve their problems, just to understand. Notice what happens. The conversation deepens. The connection strengthens. The other person feels truly heard, which is a rare and precious experience in our distracted age. Most of our conversations are parallel monologues, two people taking turns talking about themselves. Real dialogue is different. It's a genuine exchange, a shared exploration, a connection between two consciousnesses. Small talk gets a bad reputation, but even small talk can be meaningful if you're present for it. The person at the checkout counter who asks how you are, the neighbor you pass on the street, the colleague you see in the hallway. These brief exchanges are opportunities for genuine human connection. You can transform them just by being present, by making eye contact, by actually listening to their answer, even if it's just fine thanks, by offering an authentic smile, by treating the interaction as a real moment with a real person rather than an obstacle between you and whatever you're rushing toward. Every conversation is unique. This exact exchange between these exact people will never happen again. The person in front of you will never be exactly who they are in this moment ever again. You will never be exactly who you are right now ever again. This conversation is completely unrepeatable. Doesn't that make it worth paying attention to? We rush through conversations as if they're chores to complete, but conversations are how we connect, how we understand each other, how we build relationships, how we alleviate loneliness, how we share our humanity. The quality of your conversations determines the quality of your relationships, and the quality of your relationships largely determines the quality of your life. This isn't small stuff. This is everything. So slow down, listen, be present, look at the person in front of you. They're offering you themselves. That's an incredible gift. Honor it with your attention. You'll be amazed at what happens. Relationships deepen, connections form, understanding grows, and you stop feeling so alone because you're actually meeting people instead of just exchanging words near them. The art of conversation is the art of presence. Be here, with this person, in this moment, nowhere else. That's it. That's the whole secret. Start today. Pick one conversation, just one. Be completely present for it. Listen with your whole attention. Notice what changes. Chapter 3. Walking as moving meditation. You walk every day. From your bed to the bathroom, from your car to your destination, through grocery stores and office buildings and your own home. Walking is so ordinary that you probably never think about it. But what if walking could become a practice of presence and awareness? Most of us walk while thinking. We're physically moving through space, but mentally we're reviewing the past or planning the future or rehearsing conversations or solving problems. Our bodies walk, but we're not really there for it. Try something different. Take a walk where walking itself is the entire point. Not exercising, though movement is fine. Not getting somewhere, though you can still have a destination. Just walking with full awareness of walking. Start by noticing your feet. Feel them inside your shoes. Feel each foot as it lifts, as it swings forward, as it contacts the ground. Heel first, usually then rolling through to the toes, then lifting again. Over and over. This miracle of balance and momentum that you've done so many thousands of times that you never think about it. Notice your legs, the muscles contracting and releasing, the rhythm of your stride, the way your weight shifts from one leg to the other. Notice your arms. Are they swinging? Hanging still? What are your hands doing? Notice your breathing. Is it coordinated with your steps? Does it have its own rhythm? Expand your awareness to your whole body moving through space. Feel the coordination of it, the complexity masked as simplicity. Thousands of micro-adjustments happening automatically to keep you upright and moving forward. Now notice your environment. What do you see? Not just in a general way, but specifically. The colors, the shapes, the play of light and shadow, the details you usually miss. What do you hear? Traffic, birds, wind, voices, your own footsteps. Silence. Listen to the soundscape around you. What do you smell? Cut grass, exhaust, food cooking, rain, flowers. Notice the scents that float through the air. Feel the air on your skin. Is it warm or cool, still or moving? Humid or dry? Walk and notice. That's all. When your mind wanders into thoughts, gently bring it back to the sensations of walking. The feeling of your feet, the sights around you, the sounds, the smells, this step, this breath, this moment. What you're doing is inhabiting your body. Most of the time we live in our heads. We're so identified with our thoughts that we barely notice we have bodies unless they hurt or need something. But your body is your interface with the world. It's how you experience everything. And it's always right here in the present moment. Your body can't be in the past or future. It exists only now, so when you bring attention to your body, you anchor yourself in the present. The endless churning of thoughts quiets. You drop out of your head and into your direct experience. And you discover that this moment is actually quite rich and interesting when you're here for it. Walking meditation doesn't require anything special. No equipment, no particular location. You can do it anywhere, around your neighborhood, through a park, in a mall, down a hallway, 3 minutes or 3 hours. It doesn't matter. What matters is the quality of attention you bring. Are you here? Are you noticing? Are you present in your body as it moves through space? You can extend this practice. Walk to your car with full awareness. Walk through the grocery store, noticing everything. Walk from your desk to the bathroom as a mini meditation. Any walking can become practice. And here's what you'll discover. When you're present while walking, you notice things. Beautiful things, interesting things. Things that were always there, but you never saw because you weren't paying attention. that tree you pass every day. Have you ever really looked at it? The pattern of its bark, the particular shape of its branches, the way light filters through its leaves. The houses on your street, what colors are they? What styles? What small details make each unique? The sky. When did you last actually look at the sky? Not glance at it, but look at it. Notice the clouds, the shades of blue, the quality of light. There's a whole world around you, rich, detailed, constantly changing. And you're missing most of it because you're lost in thought. Walking meditation brings you back. It returns you to your senses, to your body, to the world as it actually is, rather than how you think about it. Start small. One mindful walk, 5 minutes, around the block, through a park. Wherever you like, just walk and notice. See what you discover. You might discover that the ordinary walk you've taken 100 times becomes new when you're actually present for it. You might discover that your neighborhood is more beautiful than you realized. You might discover that being in your body feels good. You might discover that the present moment is enough. Walk. Notice. Be here. That's the practice. Chapter 4. Eating with awareness. You eat multiple times every day. It's one of your most frequent activities. It's also essential, pleasurable, social, cultural, meaningful. And most of the time you barely notice you're doing it. Think about your last meal. Can you remember what it tasted like, what it looked like, how it felt in your mouth? Or were you eating while watching TV, or scrolling through your phone, or working, or reading, or thinking about something else? We've turned eating into a background activity, something we do while doing other things. We eat lunch at our desks while working. We eat dinner in front of screens. We eat breakfast while rushing to get ready. We eat snacks absent-mindedly while doing something else. The food enters our mouths, and we chew and swallow, but we're not really there for the experience. We're physically eating, but mentally elsewhere. What if you ate one meal with full awareness? What would that be like? Start before you eat. Look at your food. Actually, look at it. Notice the colors, the shapes, the way it's arranged. Appreciate the visual aspect. Notice the aroma. Breathe it in. What do you smell? How does it make you feel? Does it trigger memories or associations? Now take a bite. But before you chew, pause. Notice the food in your mouth, the temperature, the texture, the initial taste. Begin to chew slowly. Notice how the texture changes, how flavors emerge and develop, how the food breaks down. Pay attention to the act of chewing itself, the movement of your jaw, your tongue. How many times do you chew before swallowing? Most of us chew far less than we should because we're rushing. When you swallow, notice that. The feeling of food traveling down your throat. Take another bite. Repeat. Throughout the meal, keep bringing your attention back to the direct experience of eating. The tastes, the textures, the smells, the sensations. Notice when your mind wanders. It will wander. That's normal. When you realize you've been thinking about something else, just gently return your attention to eating. What happens when you eat this way? Several things. First, you actually taste your food. Most of what we think of as taste is actually smell and texture and temperature and expectation all combined. When you pay attention, you experience the full complexity. Second, you enjoy your food more. Presence enhances pleasure. When you're actually here for the experience, it's richer and more satisfying. Third, you tend to eat less, not because you're restricting yourself, but because you notice when you're full. When you eat while distracted, you often eat past satisfaction because you're not paying attention to your body's signals. Fourth, you develop a different relationship with food. Instead of just fuel or comfort or habit, eating becomes an experience, a pleasure, a practice of gratitude for the nourishment you receive. Fifth, you slow down. Mindful eating takes longer than mindless eating, and that's good. Eating too quickly leads to overeating and poor digestion. Eating slowly allows your body to process properly. You don't have to eat every meal this way. That might not even be desirable. Meals are social. Sometimes eating while talking or sharing time with others is exactly right. But what about one meal a day, or even one meal a week? Could you set aside that time to eat with full awareness, maybe breakfast, before the day gets busy, before your mind fills with thoughts and plans? Sit down with your breakfast and just eat, nothing else. No phone, no news, no book, just you and your food. Or maybe lunch. Take a real lunch break. Step away from work, sit somewhere pleasant if you can. Eat slowly, taste everything. Give yourself 20 minutes of presence with your meal, or maybe dinner. Light a candle, turn off screens. Sit down, appreciate your food. Eat slowly and with full attention. One meal. That's all, as a practice, as a way of coming back to your body and your senses and the present moment. You might discover that eating can be meditative, that it's a natural opportunity for mindfulness because it engages all your senses. You might discover that food tastes better when you actually taste it. You might discover that meals can be restful even when eaten alone, that they can be small islands of peace in a busy day. You might discover gratitude for having food to eat, for the earth that grew it, for the people who cultivated and transported and prepared it, for your body that will transform it into energy and nourishment. So much goes into every meal. So much we take for granted. When you eat with awareness, you reconnect with that whole chain of connection. Try it. Pick one meal. Eat it with full attention. Notice everything. Be present. See what happens. Chapter 5. The Power of Pause. Between one thing and another, there's a space, a transition, a moment. Most of us rush through these spaces. We finish one activity and immediately start the next. We move from meeting to meeting, task to task, thought to thought, without pause, without breath, without transition. This creates a life that feels rushed even when we have enough time. We're always leaning into the next thing before we finish the current thing, always anticipating, never quite here. What if you built pauses into your day? Small, deliberate moments of stopping between activities. You finish a work task. Before starting the next one, you pause. Just 10 seconds. You take a breath. You notice how you feel. You let the previous task go. You arrive in this new moment before beginning the next thing. You end a phone call. Before checking your email, you pause. You close your eyes. You take 3 slow breaths. You return to yourself. You arrive home. Before rushing to the next thing, you pause at the threshold. You stand there for a moment. You consciously transition from work mode to home mode. You arrive. These tiny pauses change everything. They break up the relentless momentum. They give you moments to return to yourself, to check in, to reset, to choose what comes next rather than just reacting automatically. Without pauses, your day becomes one long, continuous stream. Everything blurs together. You get to the end of the day exhausted and can barely remember what happened. It's all just a blur. With pauses, your day has structure, rhythm. Breathing room. You're present for transitions instead of unconsciously rushing through them. Transitions are important. They're the hinges of your day. How you move from one activity to another affects your experience of both. If you rush from a stressful meeting directly into another commitment, you bring that stress with you. It colors everything that follows. But if you pause between them, you have a chance to let the stress go, to return to baseline, to meet the next thing fresh. Pauses don't have to be long, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. These tiny spaces are enough. The key is deliberateness. You're choosing to pause. You're consciously creating a space. You're not just happening to have dead time, you're intentionally stopping. What do you do in a pause? Nothing much. Breathe, notice. Return to your body. Let go of what just happened. Arrive in this moment. You might take a few deep breaths. You might notice physical sensations. You might look around and really see where you are. You might notice sounds. You might simply stand or sit still and be present. The content matters less than the intention. You're deliberately creating a moment of presence between activities. Try building pauses into your morning routine, between shower and breakfast. Pause. Between breakfast and leaving. Pause. Between arriving at work and starting tasks. Pause. Try pausing between meetings. Instead of going directly from one to the next, take 2 minutes. Stand up. Stretch. Look out a window. Breathe. Then enter the next meeting present, instead of carrying the energy from the previous one. Try pausing before meals. Before you eat, stop. Look at your food. Take a breath. Acknowledge your hunger. Transition from whatever you were doing into eating. Try pausing when you arrive home. Don't immediately check the mail or start the next thing. Stand in the doorway. Acknowledge that you've arrived. Notice how you feel. Consciously enter your home. Try pausing before bed. Instead of going directly from screens to sleep, create a buffer. Turn everything off. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Let the day go. Transition into rest mode. These pauses accumulate. Each one is small, but together they create a different quality of day. A day with breathing room. A day where you're more present. A day that feels more spacious, even if you're doing the same amount of stuff. Pauses also give you access to choice. When you rush from one thing to the next on autopilot, you're just reacting. But when you pause, you create space for intention. You can ask yourself what matters right now, what needs my attention. How do I want to show up for this next thing? That tiny space between stimulus and response is where your freedom lives. That's where you can choose instead of just react. But you can only access that space if you pause. Without pause, you're on autopilot. With pause, you're awake, present, capable of conscious choice. So build pauses into your day, lots of them. Tiny spaces where you stop and breathe and return to yourself, where you let go of what was and arrive in what is. Where you reset. Your day will feel different, more spacious, more intentional, more yours. Try it. Start tomorrow. Between activities, pause. 10 seconds. That's all. See what happens. Chapter 6. Finding Wonder in the Ordinary. A child sees a butterfly and stops everything. Complete attention. Total wonder. The butterfly is the most amazing thing in the world in that moment. An adult sees a butterfly and barely notices. Been there. Seen that? Not interesting. Keep moving. What happened? When did the world stop being magical? The world didn't change. Butterflies are still extraordinary. What changed is us. We stopped paying attention. We started taking everything for granted. We decided we already know what things are, so we don't need to actually look at them anymore. But do you really know what a tree is? Have you ever really looked at one? The texture of the bark, the architecture of the branches, the particular way light passes through the leaves, the small ecosystem it supports. Every tree is unique. Every tree is complex. Every tree is miraculous when you actually look. Everything is like this. Absolutely everything. The stuff you see every day and barely notice. It's all extraordinary when you pay attention. Water flowing from a tap. Do you ever think about that? Clean water. Whenever you want it. You turn a handle and water appears. Water that traveled through pipes. Water that was cleaned and treated. Water that makes your life possible. Miracle. Electricity. You flip a switch and lights come on. You plug something in and it powers up. Do you ever pause to find that amazing? Power flowing invisibly through wires, instantly available, transforming into light and heat and motion and information. Your body. Are you aware right now that your heart is beating, that your lungs are breathing, that millions of cellular processes are happening to keep you alive? You don't have to think about any of it. Your body just does it. How extraordinary is that? The ordinary is only ordinary when you stop looking. When you actually pay attention, everything becomes worthy of wonder. This cup on your desk, someone designed it. Someone manufactured it. Someone transported it. It holds liquid without leaking. It doesn't burn your hand even when the contents are hot. Simple engineering maybe, but engineering nonetheless. Intelligence and intentionality made this object. Your shoes. Look at them. Really look. Notice the stitching, the materials, the design that allows them to flex with your feet, the soles that protect you from hard ground. Someone invented shoes. Someone refined them over generations. Now you have these remarkably functional objects you strap to your feet and don't think about. Wonder isn't about discovering new things. It's about seeing clearly what's already here. The sky changes every single day. Different clouds, different light, different colors at dawn and dusk. Have you noticed, or does the sky just become background to you? Trees change through seasons. They bloom. They fruit. They change color. They drop leaves. They rest. They begin again. Do you notice the trees near your home going through these cycles? People's faces are infinitely complex, expressions shifting moment to moment. Eyes conveying things words don't, smiles that are each unique. The face of someone you love. Have you really looked lately? Wonder requires presence. You can't experience wonder while lost in thought. Wonder happens when you're here fully attending to what's in front of you. Children are good at wonder because they haven't learned to take things for granted yet. Everything is new. Everything is interesting. Everything gets their full attention. You can reclaim that capacity. Not by becoming childish, but by bringing conscious attention to the ordinary things you normally overlook. Pick something common. Something you see every day. Really look at it. Examine it as if you've never seen it before. Notice details. Appreciate its particular qualities. Consider its history. Marvel at its existence. Maybe it's a plant in your home. You water it. You walk past it every day. But when did you last really look at it? Examine the leaves. Their shape, their color, their veins, their surfaces. This plant is alive. It's growing. It's turning sunlight and water and air into structure. That's astonishing. Maybe it's your front door. You go through it multiple times a day. But what is it like? The wood or metal? The handle? The lock? The hinges? This barrier between inside and outside? This threshold you cross constantly. Look at it with fresh eyes. Maybe it's a piece of fruit. Before you eat it, look at it. The color, the skin, the shape, smell it. This thing grew on a tree or plant somewhere. It ripened. It traveled to you. Now you'll eat it, and it will become part of your body. Follow that journey in your mind. Appreciate it. Wonder transforms ordinary moments into experiences. The ordinary walk becomes an exploration. The ordinary meal becomes a feast for the senses. The ordinary conversation becomes a genuine meeting of minds. And here's the secret. Your life is made of ordinary moments. If you can't find richness in the ordinary, then you'll spend most of your life waiting for the extraordinary, waiting for special occasions, special experiences, special moments. But those special moments are rare, and even they are made of the same stuff as ordinary moments. Sensations, perceptions, experiences, present moment awareness. The capacity for wonder is the capacity to be here, to see clearly, to appreciate what is. You don't need special circumstances. You need presence. Try this. Today find one ordinary thing and give it your full attention. Really look at it. Investigate it. Appreciate it. Find the wonder that's there when you actually pay attention. Maybe you'll discover that there's no such thing as ordinary. Only the extraordinary that you've stopped noticing. Chapter 7. The Gift of Boredom. We've developed an intolerance for boredom. The moment we have nothing to do, we reach for our phones, standing in line, waiting for an appointment, riding an elevator. Any empty moment gets filled with scrolling. We treat boredom as a problem to solve, a gap to fill, a deficiency to fix. But what if boredom is actually valuable? What if those empty moments contain something important? When you're bored, you're not distracted. You're not being stimulated. You're just here with yourself and nothing in particular to do. That can feel uncomfortable. So we avoid it. We keep ourselves constantly entertained, constantly stimulated, constantly busy. But in doing so, we lose something. We lose the space where creativity emerges, where reflection happens, where we process experiences, where we rest. Boredom is like fallow ground. Nothing seems to be happening, but actually a lot is happening beneath the surface. Your mind is sorting, processing, making connections, restoring itself. When you're constantly consuming information and entertainment and stimulus, you never give your mind space to do this essential work. Think about when you get your best ideas. Probably not when you're actively trying to think. Probably when you're in the shower, or taking a walk, or lying in bed, or doing dishes. Times when your mind is unoccupied by external stimulus. That's not a coincidence. Your mind needs unstructured time, time when it's not being directed or filled, time to wander, to make unexpected connections, to surface insights. When you eliminate all boredom from your life, you eliminate these opportunities. Children know this instinctively. Give a child free time with nothing particular to do, and they'll invent games, create worlds, explore. Their boredom becomes a catalyst for imagination. Adults have forgotten this. We think we need to be productive or entertained at all times, but we need fallow time, empty time, time when nothing in particular is happening. Try this. Next time you're waiting somewhere, don't reach for your phone. Just wait. Be bored. Notice what happens. At first you'll feel antsy, uncomfortable. The urge to check your phone will be strong. That's normal. That's addiction to stimulation making itself known. Stay with it. Breathe. Look around. Notice your environment. Notice people. Notice sounds. Notice your own thoughts bubbling up. Let your mind wander. Don't direct it. Just see where it goes when it's not being fed input. You might be surprised. Memories might surface. Ideas might emerge. You might notice things about your environment you never saw before. You might just feel calmer. Boredom is not the enemy. Constant stimulation is the enemy. It fragments our attention. It makes us restless. It prevents depth. It keeps us skimming the surface of everything and experiencing nothing fully. When you allow yourself to be bored, you develop tolerance for unstructured time. You become comfortable with yourself. You discover that you don't actually need constant entertainment. This has practical benefits. You become less dependent on devices. You become more present. You become more creative. You rest more deeply. It also has deeper benefits. You get to know yourself. When you're always consuming other people's thoughts and images and content, you never encounter your own. When you stop filling every gap, you discover what naturally arises in those spaces. Maybe it's anxiety that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's joy. Maybe it's ideas. Maybe it's just peace. But whatever it is, it's yours, and you have a right to meet it. Modern life pushes us toward constant distraction, constant stimulation, constant busyness. You have to actively resist this to reclaim space. Build boredom into your day. Leave gaps. Don't schedule every moment. Don't fill every silence. Create space for nothing in particular. Take a walk without headphones. Just walk, with your thoughts, with the sounds around you. Sit in a waiting room without your phone. Just sit. Notice the room, the other people, your own presence. Eat a meal without entertainment. Just eat. Taste your food. Sit with yourself. These moments of voluntary boredom are countercultural. You're choosing to not be stimulated, to not be productive, to just be. And in that being, something important happens. You return to yourself. You rest. You create space for whatever wants to emerge. Try it. Embrace boredom. Don't fill every gap. See what you discover in the spaces. Chapter 8. Evening Wind. We're tired from the day. We want to zone out. So we scroll. We watch TV. We consume content until our eyes close. There's nothing wrong with relaxation. But there's a difference between rest and collapse. Between choosing how to spend your evening and defaulting to distraction because you're too tired to be intentional. What if you created an evening ritual, a deliberate way of transitioning from day to night, from activity to rest? This doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require a lot of time, but it does require intention. Start by setting a boundary. Decide when the workday ends. When you stop checking email. When you stop thinking about work tasks. Without this boundary, work bleeds into evening, and evening never really begins. Maybe it's when you leave the office. Maybe it's 6 p.m. Maybe it's after dinner. Pick a time. Make it real. This is when work ends and evening begins. Mark this transition. Do something that signals the shift. Change clothes. Take a shower. Go for a short walk. Light a candle. Something that says, this is different. Day is over. Evening is beginning. Now, how do you want to spend your evening? Not how do you normally spend it, but how do you want to spend it? Maybe you want connection, time with family or friends or a partner. Real conversation, shared activity. Presence with people you care about. Maybe you want solitude. Time to read, to think, to be with yourself, to process the day. Maybe you want gentle activity, cooking, stretching, a hobby. Something engaging but not demanding. Maybe you want creativity, writing, drawing, music, playing, making something. Maybe you want rest, simple rest, sitting, being, not doing. Whatever it is, choose it, make it intentional. Turn evening into something you design rather than something that just happens to you. One powerful evening practice is reviewing your day. Not judging it, just reviewing it. Noticing it. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Think back through your day. What happened? What did you do? Who did you interact with? What did you experience? Notice what stands out. What brought you joy? What was difficult? What are you grateful for? What do you wish had gone differently? You're not trying to change anything, you're just noticing. Acknowledging your day, seeing it clearly. This simple practice creates closure. The day gets witnessed. Integrated, let go of. You don't carry it into sleep as unprocessed experience. Another powerful practice is preparation for tomorrow. Not planning in detail, but setting an intention. What matters tomorrow? What's one thing you want to remember? What quality do you want to bring? Again, this is brief, just a few moments. But it orients you. It means you won't wake up tomorrow spinning. You'll wake up with a sense of direction, then release it. You've set your intention. Now let it go. Evening is for rest, not for working on tomorrow. Consider your environment. Is your space conducive to winding down? Too much light signals your brain to stay alert. Dim the lights as evening progresses. Use warm light rather than bright white light. Blue light from screens interferes with sleep. Consider putting devices away an hour before bed, or at least dimming screens and using night mode. Temperature matters. A cool room promotes sleep. Make sure your sleeping space will be comfortable. What about your mind? Is it racing? Still churning on problems or replaying conversations? This is where presence practices help. Bring your attention to your body. Notice physical sensations. Feel your feet on the floor, your body in the chair. Your breath moving in and out. When thoughts arise, don't fight them. Just notice them and return attention to physical sensation, again and again, gently redirecting from thinking to sensing. Your bedtime routine matters. Most people have some routine: brush teeth, wash face, change clothes. But is it mindful or automatic? Try bringing full attention to these simple tasks. Feel the water on your face, taste the toothpaste, feel the fabric of your sleeping clothes. These ordinary acts can become small rituals that signal your body and mind that sleep is coming. Consider ending with gratitude. Lying in bed before sleep, think of 3 things from the day you're grateful for. They don't have to be big, small things count. The sun through your window, a good cup of coffee, a kind word from someone. This practice shapes what your mind does as you drift towards sleep. Instead of worrying or planning, you're appreciating. You're acknowledging goodness. You're cultivating a sense of sufficiency. The last moments before sleep color your sleep. If you fall asleep anxious or angry or watching something disturbing, that follows you into sleep. If you fall asleep grateful and peaceful, that does too. Your evening winds down into sleep, which begins the next morning. It's all connected. How you end today affects how you begin tomorrow, so tend your evenings. Make them conscious. Create rituals that support rest. Give yourself the gift of a gentle transition from day to night. Try designing an evening ritual. What time will it begin? How will you mark the transition? What will you do? How will you prepare for sleep? Write it down. Try it for a week. See how it feels to move through evening with intention rather than collapse. You might discover that evenings become restorative, that you sleep better, that you wake more refreshed, that the whole rhythm of your days improves. The art of small moments includes the moments when you wind down, when you let go, when you rest. These moments matter. Tend them well. Conclusion: your life is now. We've explored many small moments together: morning coffee, conversations, walking, eating, pauses, wonder, boredom, evenings, ordinary activities that make up the fabric of daily life. The invitation throughout has been simple: pay attention, be present, notice what's actually here, instead of living primarily in thoughts about what's here. But why does this matter? Why bother being present for ordinary moments? Because your life is made of these moments, not the occasional peak experience, not the rare special occasion. Those are wonderful, but they're not most of your life. Most of your life is ordinary moments, morning routines, commutes, work, meals, conversations, transitions, evenings, the regular rhythm of regular days. If you can't find meaning and richness in these ordinary moments, then you'll spend most of your life waiting. Waiting for the weekend, waiting for vacation, waiting for retirement, waiting for life to begin. But life isn't waiting. Life is now. This moment. This ordinary Tuesday afternoon. This routine task. This familiar face. This breath. When you're present, you discover that ordinary moments contain everything: joy, beauty, connection, peace, wonder. It's all here. It's always been here. You just weren't noticing. Presence doesn't require you to change your life. You don't need to quit your job or move to a monastery or adopt some elaborate spiritual practice. You just need to show up for the life you already have. That showing up changes everything. Not externally. Externally, your life might look exactly the same. But internally, everything shifts. Tasks stop being chores and become experiences. People stop being obstacles or audience and become human beings you're actually meeting. Time stops dragging or flying and becomes textured and alive. You're no longer moving through life on autopilot. You're here, awake, experiencing your actual life instead of thinking about it. This isn't always comfortable. Presence means feeling everything. Not just pleasant sensations, but also difficult ones. Pain, sadness, anxiety, fear. But even difficult feelings are richer when experienced fully than when avoided or numbed. And presence gives you access to the full spectrum of being human. You also discover something unexpected. The present moment is usually okay. Even when circumstances are difficult, the present moment itself is manageable. What makes things unbearable is adding past and future, regretting what happened, worrying about what might happen. The actual present moment is usually just this breath, this sensation, this task, and that's workable. So presence isn't just about appreciation. It's also about resilience, about meeting life as it actually is, rather than as you fear it might be. The practices in this book are simple, almost too simple. You might think there should be more to it, some secret, some technique, some special knowledge. But the secret is, there is no secret. It's just this: paying attention, being here, noticing, repeatedly. The practice is returning. Your mind will wander 10,000 times. That's fine. That's what minds do. The practice is noticing it wandered and coming back to your breath, to your senses, to this moment. You don't need to be perfectly present, you just need to practice. Little moments of presence scattered through your day, that's enough. Those moments accumulate. They change the texture of your days. They change your relationship with yourself. They change how you experience being alive. You might start with one thing: morning coffee. Commit to 3 minutes of presence with your coffee each day. Just that. See what happens. Then maybe add something else. A mindful walk once a week, or eating one meal with full attention, or pausing between activities. Build slowly. Don't try to transform everything at once. Just add small moments of presence. Let them accumulate naturally. Over time, you'll notice something. You're here more, present more, awake to your life more, not perfectly, not constantly, but more. And that more makes all the difference. Your life is happening right now, not later, not when circumstances improve, not when you achieve your goals, now. The question is whether you'll be here for it, whether you'll show up for these small, ordinary moments that comprise your one precious life. This is the art of small moments, the practice of presence, the choice to be here. It's available to you right now. This moment, this breath, these sensations, this precious ordinary instant. Be here, that's all. Just be here, notice what happens. Your life is waiting, not in some distant future. Right here, right now. Welcome home.